And it makes no sense to try to give a hard and fast definition. I've sat through endless seminars on fascism. In the end, as you said, and as I firmly believe, I think at the end of the day, the differences between the Third Reich and Italian fascism are more important than the similarities. But there are certainly similarities. And the similarities they have, I think, are basically two or three in number. Number one, they are war ideologies. Very important. Fascism comes out of war. The vision that fascism has of society is a vision in which people who are war heroes and are capable of being war heroes, those are the people who are going to lead, and only those people. So, you know, the bourgeoisie and all of that, the traditional political class, finished because they didn't get the importance of war and so forth. So that's number one. All fascism starts from that. Number two, it is about much more than communism is. It is about a transformation of human beings. That is because the goal of fascism is to produce a new fascist man who will emulate those people who came out of the trenches of World War I, having proved themselves heroic. That somehow everything that the fascist state tried to do was aimed at liberating human nature so that man could take on those heroic qualities, right? And number three, private property. Because the big distinction between communism and fascism, and they have a lot in common too, is that communism is opposed to private property, and fascism's in favor of private property, insists on private property. That's very important, it seems to me. Not least of all because the kind of corruption that you get in the fascist countries doesn't happen in communist countries. The corruption you get in communist countries is institutionalized. It's whole sectors and blocks and organs and so on. Whereas, you know, in Germany it's Goebbels, etc. And in Italy it's friends of Mussolini's that nobody's heard of and so forth. So I would say these are the three main things to keep your eye on. And in the end, I think we will get farther if we deal with National Socialism as a thing unto itself and not as part of a broader thing called fascism. And as I wrote you a couple of weeks ago, Jonah, my doctoral dissertation was about Mussolini's efforts to create a fascist international in the 20s and early 30s, before Hitler. Mm-hmm. And it broke down, and it failed